Welcome to another episode of the Snap Fantasy Football Podcast, your weekly dose of news and advice that comes to your pocket every single Saturday. Holding it down, here we got Mac, Mark, Scott, and Landon. Enjoy today's show.
All right, fantasy players, we're back with the Snap Podcast, here to bring you more hot content about your favorite new players here. We've got another rookie on deck today. We are talking about the talented 21st pick in the 2020 draft, and that's Jalen Reagor of Texas Christian University. So he was drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles, and I think the quality that made him draft in that spot was his special athletic talent. You can look at this guy's stats on the field from 2018 and see that he is a remarkable football player. And also you can look at some of his other accolades, which include long jump titles and numbers that I can't even believe. And by joining this Philadelphia team, I think Jalen Reagor has a lot of upside here. He joins a team that also has Marquise Goodwin, who, fun little fact, also put up 26 feet as a long jumper. So between these two, we're definitely going to have some long playability here and some fun highlight reels to come in the next few seasons. So when I talked about the special athlete that is Jalen Reagor, there's a lot to be said, despite him having to face some adversity in his college days. So he had a poor 2019 season. He went through a stable of quarterbacks there, and there was just a lot of inconsistency. He had drops, he had fumbles, but still, he managed to carve out that 21st spot in this year's draft. Why did he do that? We're going to look into that today, and we're going to give our temperatures on this young man here and what he's going to be going up against this season as a fantasy player. Lando, why don't you kick this off for us?
Man, Mark, I've been back and forth on Jalen Reagor. There's times where I was super high on him, and I thought he might have been my number 2, 3 wide receiver, maybe behind like the likes of Jerry Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb. But the Philadelphia Eagles, seems like they have a hard time really grooming their wide receivers. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside was a perfect example of that last year. But Jalen Reagor, like you said, overcame a lot of adversity. That guy commanded a 32.6% target share at TCU. It almost reminds me of like the Cam Akers of wide receivers. Cam Akers overcame that dreadful O-line, and I think Jalen Reagor overcame that terrible offense, the bad quarterback play at TCU, and I think can really do that in the NFL. But I'm concerned with the offense. I'm concerned with the competition he has. I'm concerned with the amount they use the tight end in Philadelphia. Now, I know Philadelphia fans were also torn on this decision. They wanted Justin Jefferson. They wanted the Eagles to move up and get a Jerry Jeudy or CeeDee Lamb. Obviously that didn't happen. I think it's going to be really, really hard for Jalen Reagor to produce year one and really compete to be that breakout wide receiver. We draft wide receivers to be the Deebo Samuels, the DK Metcalfs, and AJ Browns. When you don't break out year one, you lose that value. Just like running backs have such a good chance to gain value after year one if you draft a rookie. Wide receivers, like how Andy Isabella isn't thought about this year. Jalen Reagor, I think, could follow that narrative. Unfortunately, not to say he'll never break out, but it's going to be a tough one this year. He's a lot of fun to watch. He's a faster football player than he showed at the Combine. He's one of those guys that really broke away, and guys never caught him on the football field. But he ran a fairly slow 40-yard dash to what we expected. So that's a little narrative where you could choose to take that with a grain of salt or believe it. It's hard to say. But Scotty, you're not too big on Jalen Reagor as well. Why is that exactly?
Oh, I'm big on Jalen Reagor.
You are?
Don't know where you heard that, but Jalen Reagor is high on my draft board, and I'm going to walk you through why that is. For anyone who watches these segments, thank you. But this is a really similar situation to why I'm very high on Keyshawn Vaughn this season, and it comes down to landing spot and immediate opportunity. Now, I liked Vaughn in Tampa because I feel anybody can win that running back room, especially with Tom Brady. With a healthy Carson Wentz back in Philly, I think there's actually no wide receiver room that needs a champion more than the current Philadelphia Eagles. You might be saying, but Scott, look at all the proven vets that he's going to have to compete with. Absolutely. But from a franchise perspective, you currently have Alshon Jeffries at a wonderful 30 years old. You might think he's the oldest. No, Deshaun Jackson, the lightning threat. He's 33 years old. Even Nelson Aguilar, anybody who started Nelson Aguilar since he started, he's 27 years old as well. I think this kid is primed to take all the hopes and dreams of the Eagles fans now and just really seize the opportunity. Last season, it was said that JJ Arcega-Whiteside was in such rough shape that he couldn't get up a flight of stairs by himself. I don't think that really sounds like, unfortunately, the type of player that's going to be able to hold it together a whole season with this type of young buck nipping at his heels for any opportunity. Alshon Jeffries is commanding $15 million this year, $18 million next. So the Eagles have been trying to shop him last season. They're already actively trying to shop him again this year. I think that the franchise is pulling for this kid, and they went high to draft him here. All right, Mac, what do you think?
Scotty, you speak of opportunity. I see nothing but obstacles. Firstly, he's got to compete with Alshon Jeffrey, who just named Deshaun Watson. They got Marquise Goodwin in a trade this year. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, not to mention Miles Sanders getting more pass-catching work, as well as the two tight ends they've fallen in love with in Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert. And, in that 2017 Super Bowl run, they featured Zach Ertz and Trey Burton a ton. I mean, Trey Burton even threw a touchdown. But they love Dallas Goedert so much. If you look at their personnel groupings, 52% of their plays are coming from 12 personnel, which means they are running one running back, two tight end, two wide receiver, and they're having a lot of success in doing so. They have a 58% rush rate out of these two tight end sets. They have a 50% success rate, and they actually have a 5-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio when throwing out of 12 personnel. So there's a lot of things that the Philadelphia Eagles and Doug Peterson are doing that's really, really working. The other percentage of their plays, 41% of the time, comes from 11 personnel, which is a 3 wide receiver set. And will Jalen Reagor be featured in that set? That's to be seen. But I don't know, man. I just think he has a lot to overcome. I really think they want to feature Miles Sanders. I really think they've fallen in love with the tight end. And I just see some major obstacles for him to overcome in carving out his own path in this offense year one. Now, I know that we saw a lot of their players go down. Deshaun Jackson went down early in the season. Alshon Jeffrey wasn't a long-term play, came back for the playoffs. I get why the Philadelphia Eagles went out and got him, but they also shored up some of those pieces in getting Marquise Goodwin. So there's a lot of competition for Jalen Reagor. I don't dispute his talent because he's a top 5 wide receiver for me in terms of talent and athleticism. I would even take him over Henry Ruggs in a dynasty league. However, year one, I just don't see it from a redraft standpoint just because of Miles Sanders and those two unbelievable tight ends that they have fallen in love with. So that's kind of how I see it for Jalen Reagor.
It's hard to argue with you from the personnel group standpoint, and we can't expect that they would change a game plan just for such a promising rookie. But I will say, I truly believe that from a franchise standpoint, they are going to want him to shine as early as possible. So if they can find a suitor for someone like Alshon Jeffries, they can get him off the books and move forward. Because if you want to talk about cap draining contracts in a ROI mindset, Alshon Jeffries is probably one of the worst out there. So I think as far as a franchise goes, I think the GM is going to be saying, look, get this kid out there, get him experience, and let's see what he can do, because I think they want him to be the WR1 in Philadelphia for the franchise.
I mean, like I said, the WR1 is Zach Ertz. WR2 is Dallas Goedert. Like, I don't think you understand how much they use the tight end. 52%. Take a guess as to what the second most utilized team for tight end, 2 tight end sets was in the league last year. Give me a team you think might be up there.
Ooh.
Tight end sets.
Colts?
Saints?
No. Nope. Number 2 was your
What?
Minnesota
Ravens.
Vikings. Minnesota Vikings.
You would've thought Rudy would've
34%.
been better.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking Kyle Rudolph and Irv Smith
is
Jr.
a terrific talent. I'll give you that.
He is. But they were number 2 at 34%. Philadelphia 52, almost 260 plays more in 2 tight end sets. Have a lot of success. Jalen Reagor is going to have limited opportunity just because of what I foresee. Alshon Jeffrey's role will still be high because of what they owe him if they can't trade him. Deshaun Jackson, they're still going to want to use him as a downfield target. And those 2 tight ends and Miles Sanders, man, like, where is this guy going to blossom? I just don't know. Mark, help us out here.
He's going to blossom right down the middle.
All right.
I'm calling it.
Well, if you guys are still watching this and enjoy his upside, I'm here to back that up with a couple more quick hitting facts for you. First of all, they have got a really friendly schedule. Aside from a couple games in October, this is a division. This NFC East cannot defend the pass. And I can foresee Reagor just taking advantage of some of these downfield play opportunities and having a kind of like a Mecole Hardman-esque first season. I could also see Carson Wentz just hitting that beautiful deep pass as he does so often already, and putting it right into the hands of Jalen Reagor, something that he didn't always get the chance to do when he was in college. Now, another thing that you have to consider is the fact that they are being considered the top offensive line to keep Carson Wentz protected this season. And I just think it's going to be one of those shutdown offenses. And I don't know. I think they could take the division just by the way things are panning out and by, in my opinion, some poor drafting on the Dallas Cowboys' part. So thanks a lot for sticking around, guys, and watching. If you're still there, smash that subscribe button right now. Drop a like. Put a comment in there. We're quick to respond. We love the attention, and we love getting shared. We love sharing this fantasy world with all of you. So stay tuned for more videos that we're putting out multiple times weekly. We've got you covered for your fantasy news and updates. Keep it real, guys. We'll see you next time.